Dr. Joe Dispenza, chapter 12, starting page 441 of Evolve Your Brain. Evolve Your Brain. Subchapter, How Am I Doing? Take it away to Helen, my beautiful word read aloud host.
How am I doing? The role of feedback in evolving the brain as we attain knowledge and receive instruction. Getting feedback allows us to know how we are doing. Melissa knew that she was doing some things incorrectly, but it took expertise and ears to help her pinpoint her weaknesses and assist her in finding ways to overcome them.
So Melissa is mentioned previously in the chapter or book.
Feedback, in its strictest sense, is a response to an input.
So feedback is a response from an input. In its strictest sense, a response to an input. Feedback. A response to an input. So 3 days ago, Will Smith smacked Chris Rock at the Oscars. So let's use this as we go along. Let's use that example as an example and to use this. So Chris Rock made a joke how mild it was is open to his perspective. So Will Smith received feedback. Will Smith received feedback from Chris Rock, and Chris Rock received feedback from Will Smith. And everyone received feedback from Chris Rock. But there's two main parties that received. Will Smith's wife and Will Smith himself received feedback from Chris Rock. And then Chris Rock received feedback from Will Smith as he went to stage and smacked him in the face and walked back to his seat and shouted at him. Shouted at him. So more feedback came. So that is feedback. Response to input.
Feedback, in its strictest sense, is a response to an input. Generally, it can be either positive or negative.
Positive or negative? Yeah.
Answers are how am I doing? Questions.
So Will Smith definitely told Chris Rock, give a perception of how he was doing from his perspective.
Sometimes we seek out feedback explicitly.
So he received it in a physically.
By asking the question of others and ourselves. And sometimes, agents in the environment provide feedback without our asking for it.
So he didn't ask for it. He didn't ask for a punch. He didn't ask for a slap. It came to him.
For example, if we are driving erratically, either other drivers will beat their horns at us, or the lights of the police cruiser pulling us over will let us know how we're performing the task. Ideally, we have the ability to self-monitor, but that isn't always the case.
Yeah. So we're in a world full of responses and characters, and it's not always the case that we're able to receive feedback from ourselves. Sometimes it just comes at us.
As is true of all aspects of human behavior, how we react to feedback varies from person to person.
Human behavior, it changes from person to person based on experience and where they are emotionally.
Some people respond more favorably to negative than to positive feedback. I've worked with several people who, during informal performance reviews, have stated, "That's nice of you to compliment me, but I really learn more from criticism than praise. Tell me where I need to improve. I already know what I'm doing well." Conversely, I've worked with individuals who crumbled in the face of criticism and needed to have their negative assessments couched in very soft language. How people respond to the timing of feedback also varies. Some people appreciate receiving immediate feedback, others prefer that it be delayed, so that they are no longer in the heat of the moment. Immediate feedback is
Yeah. Some people like it in the heat of the moment, some people like it delayed. So in terms of Will Smith, Chris Rock had it, whether he asked for it or not, he received it instantaneously from Will Smith. He got to find out how he's doing from Will Smith's perspective. And some people respect it. Some people in that, like that.
often the most beneficial, because the cause and effect nature of the input is clearer.
But in some cases, the heat of the moment, when the Oscars, emotions are flying high. So it's being aware emotionally where you're at, and giving feedback from a clearer sense. Yeah.
Feedback in any form and from any aspect of our immediate environment should never be taken personally.
Feedback from the environment should never be taken personally. So if you're going to get, so Dr. Joe is saying here, if someone punches you, or someone slaps you, or don't, you should do not take that personally. So
between when we are applying.
So Chris Rock, I don't know how if he felt that took personally. Will Smith seemed to take it personally.
Knowledge something correctly, and when we are not. One of the chief reasons many diets don't work is that most people like to receive immediate feedback. In talking about the baseball pitcher, we saw that he received immediate feedback in terms of his performance. For a pitcher, a ball whizzing past his head on a line drive towards center field delivers a pretty clear message. Don't throw that particular pitch, in that particular spot, to that particular hitter, at that particular count again.
Yeah, so Chris Rock has learned, don't tell that joke in the Oscars again to Will Smith at that time, and that's what he's learned from that.
For dieters, on the other hand, the feedback mechanism is not as immediate. Many programs
and that's what we've learned. So all three parties have learned from experience. Will Smith is don't slap someone in the Oscars. Don't slap Chris Rock at the Oscars at that time. Chris Rock has learned don't tell that joke to Will Smith at that time, at that place.
Food weigh-ins and the measurement of body parts to monitor progress. Perhaps even more important to dieters is recognition from family, friends, and peers. You look great, and have you been exercising, or even something's different?
Maybe. It depends on, I guess it depends on how you reflect on the feedback. Maybe Will Smith there's no regret about it after, or Chris Rock doesn't regret how he acted.
It's about you.
But the opportunity is there. Once because you've received the feedback, so now you have the feedback, you can evaluate it from someone outside, something that's happened in your senses.
That can and often does have an even greater effect than tipping the scales a few pounds less than the previous week.
Rather than, Chris Rock telling that joke and Will Smith, if he didn't do that and Chris Rock would have not known about Will Smith was his anger, and it would have just carried on, and it would have festered.
For any committed person who wants change, feedback can also come in the form of the efforts he or she makes. For example, a person who is altering his lifestyle over time can chart what he should eat daily in proper amounts, along with the exercise he wants to do. By looking at that chart over time, he will see the fruits of his disciplined efforts. The visual feedback of seeing his chart fill up with the records of daily wins will serve as important self-recognition. He is on target by matching his intent with his actions. Often, we also receive self-feedback from our body, based on emotional or physical responses to changes we are making.
Self-feedback, emotional self-feedback, yeah.
If we are working to lose weight, and we notice that our respiration rate doesn't skyrocket when we walk up the 2 flights of stairs to our office, that internal feedback and sense of "I feel pretty good" serves as a strong motivator.
Yes, so if someone slaps you in the face, the person who slapped the person in the face might think about how they feel, and the person who got slapped in the face can notice how they feel in that situation and change our behaviors.
Dispenza, Joe. Evolve Your Brain, p. 441. Health Communications Incorporated.
And that's the end of the subchapter. And yeah, from page 441. Yes, we've missed some here. Skipped. Let's play from here.
Immediate environment should never be taken personally.
Yeah.
It simply helps us make the distinction between when we are applying knowledge, something correctly, and when we are not.
Yeah. That's my highlight. It should feedback should never be taken personally. It simply helps us make distinction between when we are helping, applying knowledge, something common correctly, and when we are not. We can be the decider of that. And yeah, let's play this.
He is on target by matching his intent with his actions. Often, we also receive self-feedback from our body, based on emotional or physical responses to changes we are making. If we are working to lose weight, and we notice that our respiration rate doesn't skyrocket when we walk up the...
So it's, on the move, being present of how we feel in terms of our respiration, how we feel, how lethargic we feel. Think about what we did that day, who we were with, where we were, what we did, what changes we can make. So this is all just about monitoring and noticing when we feel good and who we're with when we feel good and what we've done, and not keep doing the same thing. But thanks for watching. How are you doing? This is a question.